Feel my heart, it's beating. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beating. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free
Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Jose. I'm a calling Kendo, and today we're going to be watching some Kendo videos, answering some questions, and hopefully learning something about how can we improve our Kendo today. So, sorry for a little bit of the delay. As you can see, I'm a little bit in a different spot in the house. So I was running with some technical difficulties, but we're here. Hold on, let me make sure that everything's good. Please let me know how the volume is, how everything's going on. I'm trying to be a little bit soft because I feel like it's going to be a little bit disturbing in this area of the house. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and how this sounds. Let me catch up with some of those comments here. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to read anything yet. And yeah, give me 1 second, guys. So Cloudy, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for passing by. And Aisha, thank you very much. It's you. Thank you for passing by. You're wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. Yeah, you're in Tunisia, right? And I'm in Japan right now. I would love to visit your country. And yeah, but right now because I'm here, it's a little bit difficult. But if you'd like to come to Japan, I'm here. Oh, that's a dry joke. Oh, sorry, I don't know what you mean. But yeah, sorry I wasn't here. Cloudy, yay, Gas, welcome. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for passing by. Sorry, my messages are a little bit delay. Cloudy. Oh yeah, this is a new setting because my mom is visiting from Miami, so I am like the house a mess, and I think she's jet lagged, so she's like, all over there. And she brought my dog, so it's crazy right now. So everything's everywhere. So I'm trying to kind of like not disturb, and at the same time, what's it called? Keep doing the streams. So, Aisha, you were quoting the Dell song. Oh, sorry, I'm not familiar with that lyric. But it'll be great to train with you. Yeah. I think you have a beautiful country, so that would be awesome to visit. And if you or your team come over here to Japan, let me know, especially if you guys come down to the Kobe area. Okay. Again, I would also like to say thank you not only for the people passing by, but also all the members of the channel. So I'm very appreciative, because it really helps the improvement of this channel. So I have a couple things coming up, and hopefully you guys are watching a little bit of improvements when it comes to like the videos and all this stuff. So again, thank you everybody that's been supporting the channel, and everybody that's watching. If you haven't, please hit the like button. Really helps out the channel to get pushed out, the videos to get pushed out to people. And let's see if I didn't mess up today's setup, and I guess I didn't mess it up. So last week we were watching this team match, and I said that I wanted to kind of continue the previous week which it was talking about approaching the opponent and pressuring, and at the same time being safe. And there's something interesting that happened to me like in the past 2 days when I was rewatching that stream and a little bit of the matches. And when we're watching tournament, I guess we're so focused on how the ippons got scored and what's happening in order to make an ippon that we tend to miss out a little bit on how to approach the opponent. So the reason why I say this is because sometimes we think that Jigeko and Shiai have to be different, and Jigeko, Shiai, and Shinsa have to be different, and in a way they are, but at the same time they have to still be the same. You still have to learn how to use that pressure that you learn from Jigeko and apply it into your tournament, and of course in your testing, because you want to learn how to approach your opponent and at the same time make opportunities and be safe. So it's hard, I feel, that based on like the amount of things that came up in the last stream, to kind of focus specifically on the approach. So this is why I always find very useful for myself, and I also suggest for you, that not only watch tournament videos but also watch Jigeko. So I'm always super happy when somebody posts a video of high level Jigeko, for that reason, because you can see people that are not afraid to fail, not afraid of getting scored on, and trying to improve themselves. So you can start picking up all those things and then put it into your practice, but then taking it to the dojo, to the Shiai or your testing. So that being said, we're going to keep watching this tournament, but this match from a tournament, but at the same time, I'm going to try to pay more attention to how people are approaching each other, what are they doing to stay safe, what are they doing to make an opportunity. So that will be, again, the theme for today. And of course, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. Cloudy, you really like last video. You think you understand distance better. Thank you for saying that. It's funny because this last video, it took me a while to put it out, just because there were so many things. Like the video, I think was gonna be longer. I wanted to make it shorter, but that video was so, like, I wanted to say so many things. And the biggest one, it's the whole thing about not just being static, because sometimes, a lot of times, many times, we are trying to approach the opponent, but we just stop and don't have a little bit of that feeling of continuation. So yeah, please, if you get more feedback, or when you put these things to practice, you come up with like new perspectives or ideas, share them. That'll be awesome. Dan, thank you very much for passing by. And Chua-san, thank you for subscribing. Ignacio, hola, ¿cómo estás? Cualquier cosa que necesites, por favor, déjame saber. Okay, so let me know, guys, if you can hear this video good. And the volume is good with my voice. Okay? Okay. So this is the third match, by the way. And something to be mindful when we're doing team matches is that every player goes in as an individual, but you also have to keep in mind what can bring the team up and what can secure a position. So, for example, if you are fighting on the first position, it's a little bit more like individuals, right? You really fight to try to get Ippon, but at some point when you feel that your team is behind and you get score on, your strategy doesn't have to be where you have to go in and get the point, because team can help you score a point. But at the same time, you want to of course try to get that point, but at the same time you don't want to risk losing more points, making it harder for the team. So these are things that maybe it's ideal for everybody to kind of think ahead of time before going to tournaments and trying to understand the rules and how team fighting, what can you do to improve the chances of your team, not only your chances of scoring. Okay, so we have another Jordan player. I always say this, that for Jordan players, a lot of times people think that because the door is exposed on the Jordan player that this is an opening, and I disagree with this, because at the same time that you're trying to go for the door, you're very exposed to the men that is right there for them. But on the other hand, I think that they have a lot of chances of hitting the door, especially when somebody has like a big swing that they're trying to get it, and when they catch the timing. Jordan players, I think that the best surprise attacks, and please take this with a grain of salt, is going to be Morote Kote and Do. Gyakudo or regular Do. And you can see here. So you see, like, the first reflex for somebody to do against Jordan. Yeah, hold on. The first reflex for somebody to do against Jordan is to cover up high. Watch this for a second. If you watch, the Jordan players coming very, very energetic, right? The Jordan player comes in very energetic, and that causes the Chudan player to raise the sword very high, making it a bigger target for the Do. So Jordan player executes that Do. He missed it, but again, very good opportunity, very good approach, because this is one of the main reactions that people tend to have against Jordan players. And raising the hands up can make you vulnerable, not only your Do, but also your Kote. So this is something that you want to kind of keep in mind when you're fighting against a Jordan player. The other thing is that the change of timing and how fast he came in, because he starts kind of a little bit in a relaxed position, but then immediately comes in and then switches the foot. That's another thing that you have to be mindful against Jordan players, that they can hit with the feet in either position. So you see, he switched the feet, closing the distance very quickly, and then executing that Gyakudo. It's unfortunate that he missed, but again, it's a great opportunity. At the same time, white, because you see he missed the Gyakudo, he became exposed for the man. You didn't score, but there's another thing that you want to be mindful when you're practicing your Gyakudo, when you're trying to learn it, that you want to have a good follow through, in the sense of you want to be in a good position after you hit, whether you miss or you don't, but because you want to be protected in case that the other player is going to come and attack you. So let's watch one more time real quick. Oh, how did that happen? How did that sword fall on the floor? Let's see what happened. So that was a very nice timing on that, man. Watch this. Like, it squeezed in there. It was very nice a very nice aim at the same time, right? He was able to squeeze in there, and then of course, like he lost his shinai, but that was definitely a good aim and a good timing on that, man. That's pretty cool. What do you guys think? Do you like this setup better than the one I normally do? Because I feel that maybe this is comfortable, so maybe I can work with this setup. How's the volume, by the way, with my voice? Oh, so again, raising the hands as a Chudan player against Jodan is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Raising your hands against a Jodan player coming from Chudan can put you in a really bad position. If you watch here, white raised the hands very up high. There's still a little bit of distance that red can use to analyze where he wants to go. And at the same time, the white player, the Chudan player, also has different things that he could do because there's distance still, but he's on a defensive mode. And red came around and then he hit on that morote kote. Because he's coming with both hands and coming from up high, he has a lot of control to move the sword around. It's too bad that the judge is in the middle of the way, but because he's coming from up high with both hands, he has a lot of control on how he can move the sword in order to come and make contact on the target. So you have to be mindful that raising your hands, exposing your kote is not going to be a good approach against Jodan players. Ishe said the voice a little quiet when compared to videos when they are both playing sometimes. Okay, let me try to do something real quick here. Tell me if my voice is a little bit I'm trying to be quiet just because, I'm in the corner of the apartment. I don't know, like I think my neighbor is like right on the other side, and then obviously my mom is like sleeping in the other room, and I don't want to disturb. So let me know if the voice went up a little bit because I turned up the volume, but now it's the maximum. Also a little bit of this too. Oh, this is a good continuation. Okay, Jodan players, a lot of times they have a little bit of a, not all Jodan players, but one of the bad things that you can do as a Jodan player is not have continuity on your techniques. So if you watch this, red actually has great continuity, right? Just one more time. He comes for man. He immediately readjusts his body, right? Like readjusts his position and tries to go for another technique. He goes around for the kote, I believe. Yeah, you see, he goes around for the kote. He missed, but at the same time, because he's still engaged, he's still going in for, that fighting feeling. He comes in and then he tries to kind of startle his opponent by just kind of like pushing to the side. It's a little bit quick, right? So he was looking for that opportunity. And I'm gonna tell you this: if you haven't fought somebody that does this to you, because a lot of times we're trying to not be rude with our partners, we're trying to be nice to each other in practice. Sometimes we don't get to experience this type of treatment, and it can be very frustrating or very flustering at the moment that happens, and it can throw you off and make you give your opponent an opening. So this is one of the reasons why I try to let my opponents know that they can do 100% of what they need to do, what they feel like they need to do. And although I don't have a bad feeling, or I know that they don't have a bad feeling towards me, I want them to go at it as best as they can to try to, even take not only the physical, but also the mental advantage. So keep that in mind as well. So if I remember correctly, the white team has 2 wins, and this is the third fight. So red now is winning. It's very interesting that you see he's trying to get another point. He's coming in, he's not holding back, so he feels confident. So I think it's a good interaction when it comes to that. Dan, you're saying, is there anything white is doing well against red? You don't know how to approach against Jordan. I think that, listen, these are very skilled players. So I'm gonna say this, that something that I feel that he's doing well is that he's approaching him, right? As even in this interaction right here, right? Like he's not going backwards all the time, but when he's going backwards and raising the hands like this is a bad, what's it called? It's yeah, this is a bad place to be on the defensive, making distance, because remember, like as we saw earlier, he can flip the feet, he can switch the feet and actually get a little bit more reach and quickly. So going backwards, it's actually a little bit harder, or it makes it easier for, not easier, but it can make it harder for you to actually have a proper reaction. So closing the distance, I think, is one of the first things you need to try to do, and trying to understand how to approach him. I'll talk more about it in a second. Let's watch a little bit and I'll tell you what he does well. To be honest, I've been looking more at the Jordan player lately. But, so this right here, actually, you see how he deflected that man? I think this is very good. I'll show you. So the easiest, no, it's not that it's easy, but one of the easiest approaches against Jordan is to get them to attack for men, for you to do Suriage men. And I think that maybe that's what he tried to do here. Regardless, the way that he deflected the sword, I think, was very good, because he didn't raise his hands above, right? So he didn't make an opening for that kote. So you see, he came in on a deflection. He didn't raise the hands like as a block before. That being said, like he should have kept the tip further forward. Hold on, let me get my little shinais, because give me 1 second, guys. I need to get the little shinais. Okay. Let me see if you guys can see me in the camera. Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. So, the Jordan player was coming this way. Right? And he kind of went a little bit for a deflection. The thing that I feel that he could have done better is that instead of having the tip so far out, to kind of have it more towards the opponent, so he could actually transition into a technique rather than, you know, just be purely a block, and doing this as he's approaching the opponent rather than kind of like what he did before, where he stepped back and raised the hands. So let me show you here. One of the biggest things with approaching against Jordan is that when you raise your hands, oh, hold on, maybe here. When you raise your hands here, up here, this becomes very exposed, right? So instead, you kind of want to have the hands a little bit lower and then approach with a suriage on the way rather than just bring up. Hope that makes sense. Ignacio, you're saying for Jordan, you used to close the distance, moving in to your right and go to Jordan kote, to the left kote. It works for you 40% of the times. And Jordan needs distance, you used to short it. Yeah, that's correct. It's not Jordan that needs distance, because again, they have both hands on the shinai. So this is the thing that I feel that people sometimes kind of like overlook against Jordan, is that they can go into Jordan if they want it, right? Like it's not like they're like Nito players and then all of a sudden transforms into one sword. They have one sword with both hands, so they can switch up at any time. And yes, it can be uncomfortable, especially when you have a Jordan player with a large tsuka, but still, it doesn't mean that they cannot do it. And especially when you have a good Jordan player, they practice this as well. But the one thing that you have to be mindful, you're talking about going to the right against Jordan players, and this can work better against Jordans when they have the left foot forward, but when they have the right foot forward, that actually kind of becomes a little bit more dangerous. So again, I think maybe you have to approach it in a case by case. For me, I want when I'm fighting against a Jordan player is that I want to challenge the man. I want to challenge the man at a far distance, right? So I want to come in as they're coming in for men from a little bit farther distance so I can deflect and attack. This would be like the ideal scenario. Not that it always happens. Then after that, yes, of course, you want to try to threaten maybe the tsuki, maybe the kote, so that way you keep them confused and you keep them trying to be defensive. If you get them to be on the defensive, it's going to be an applause for you. Okay. So if I would have been in here at this moment, after they separated, when they fully separated, he kind of lowers the sword, make a little bit of a distance, and he kind of allows the Jordan player to calmly bring the sword up. So I feel that at this point, kind of like the Jordan player kind of got a little bit of a boost in confidence. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not right, but at the same time, I feel that also White kind of let go a little bit of that tension. But instead, if he would have come in, maybe he would have gotten to like react. And all this fluster can also serve as a tool against his approach. You see, like every time that he's coming in and out. He goes forward, but he's kind of like always. Look how he's front loading his weight. He's putting his weight. I'm talking about the Chudan player. He's putting his weight mostly on the forward leg because he's ready to always come backwards, right? So like the back, we cannot see it on this angle very well, but the back leg looks like is not really solid on the ground. So that means that he's ready to be jumping backwards, right? And it's okay. And you see right here, bad position against a Jordan player. If you are here, the Jordan player can come in and try to get that kote. So he comes in with a man, but look at the shoulders, look at the elbows. This is something that I want to make a video about as well, by the way, that your elbows have to be lined forward. Like when your elbows, hold on, let me see that. Let me make sure that I can see the camera. When your elbows, if your elbows come out like this, you don't have enough power. You don't have good power. So you're not going to have a good strike. So if you actually like, if you can bring them down, you can get a good cut. But if you're attacking like this with your elbows out, you take away power, speed. So if you watch what's happening here, his elbows are slightly off the center, right? So that's why he kind of comes in with a little bit of a weird man. It's minimal though, don't get me wrong. Like he still has power behind his head, but normally to us, we tend to exaggerate this a little bit more. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Like he goes back. So at this point, maybe like he was a little bit confident, right? Like, and he took advantage of that. Not Nippon, but good approach. So this, you see, this approach from the Chudan player, I think was much better because he lured the Jordan player to come in for a man. Wait. See, he lured the Jordan player to come in for a man and immediately went in for an attack himself, right? So it missed. Unfortunately, it missed, but I think it's very good approach. Let's watch it a little bit in slow motion. See, he puts a little bit of pressure forward to get a reaction. He didn't get it, but then when he comes in, I don't think he was necessarily ready because look at the back foot. He's kind of still turning. And the other thing I'm not liking so much how he's moving is that he's crossing his legs. When he's going around, he's crossing his back leg around and it makes it a little bit harder for him to have power to come forward. So if you watch that, he is going around and he gets ready and then he comes in for the technique. So this was pretty good interaction right there, I think. So in this case, the pressure that the Jodan player put on the Chudan player came from a feint, right? Which is okay. For Xiai, this is perfectly okay. This is something you don't want to do for testing, but Xiai is definitely great. So you see he comes in with a fake kote. I guess maybe that wasn't fake. Maybe actually he came in for a kote for real. And then he readjusted. And the good thing is that White came in with a technique immediately. But I think we've seen this whole fight that White has been holding back a lot. You see, the first reaction from White, you see, is bring the hands up. It's like he goes up. Like right here, he went up to cover, which you can see clearly, right? Like there's a straight line for that kote. And then when he's up here, he remembers, oh, he can get my kote. So then he comes around like this. But then he can also get his do. So again, this is definitely a very dangerous position to be in. Gas, you said you hurt your thumb recently. Should you go to Migi Jodan? Your left thumb. So you're saying like to switch your hands? Is it what you're saying, or you're saying to switch to go into Jodan, switching your feet? Are you doing Jodan right now? And yeah, so like there's a lot of questions, and definitely what Aisha's saying that sensei will definitely give you a better answer because your sensei sees you on a daily. Right hand, one hand Jodan. So the mechanics of I don't know specifically what level are you in and what is it that you're training, but there are many aspects that need to be trained in order to start getting into this alternative kamaes. So for example, if you're not a Jodan player, I don't think you have really learned the communication and the distance between you and your opponent to understand if this is, good timing, good distance, how to create pressure and all that stuff. So I wouldn't say it's a good alternative. If you have an injury on your left thumb, you have to consider maybe telling your sensei you have this. It's okay to do to restrict your Jigeiko, for example, to have your partners understand that you have this injury, so everybody can be a little bit careful. Also to maybe do Mitori Geiko and all this stuff, trying to make sure that you keep it safe. I seen some people that they put like something to protect when they really want to go in, like I had somebody that, when they do not the cast, but when they put like a gauze, but like a little metal thing on top of your finger, like I seen that one time. So, try to look for alternatives rather than going so drastically to such a different stance, because it might actually not help your kendo, right? Like it might give you maybe a false sense of confidence when people get confused about fighting this, but then at the same time can throw away your confidence if you haven't done Jodan Katate, when you start getting exhausted and tired that you cannot keep going. So it's a lot of things going on. So I don't know. Your sensei will have the final word, of course. Okay, so I couldn't read your comment saying that it was a joke. But I think it's a great opportunity to discuss all these points, because many people want to quickly switch into different things for many reasons. And I think it's very important to understand that you have to understand couple of basic elements before you switching. So for example, I feel confident that I want to, like, if I go to practice and say I want to start doing Nito, because I understand communication, I understand my approach, I understand how to work my feet and so on, and I can actually start getting a little bit of as a matter of fact, I did Nito for a little bit when I had my what's it called, like my tendonitis on my tennis elbow on my left arm, because I couldn't lift up my shinai, right? So I still wanted to keep practicing. So having the kodachi or the shoto in one hand was beneficial for me, because I can still come to practice. And mostly, to be honest, mostly what I would do at this point was basics. So I wasn't trying to just go and do crazy stuff and like do jigeikos and stuff like that. I was trying to stick to basics, maybe a little bit of jigeiko, but very well restricted. So at the same time, mainly what I was working at that point was distance, was timing, and was my footwork. So that being said, I think I ranted a little bit long on that one. Yes, guys, there is right-handed one-hand Jordan players. Not common, of course, but yeah. Aisha, you said you actually did for 6 months when you tore a ligament on your left wrist. Ah, okay. Oh, wow. Oh, you okay? Is that better? Like, the question is, like, do you get any residual problems with your wrist? That's actually very, ligaments are very sensitive, so I hope you're doing better. Okay. Definitely should have done better. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's keep going, guys, because I ranted a little bit long on this one. Oh. So there's a moment where in jigeiko you might be engaged and then you want to relax, but sometimes you end up relaxing a little bit too much. I feel like that almost happened to the white player here. Watch. It's kind of like he was coming a little bit too softly to chill around, and then red just attacked. I just had a notification, so somebody just subscribed to the channel. I cannot read the name, so thank you very much for subscribing. Guys, so you have Anito Senpai teaches you basic of Katato Suburi in that moment though. At the moment, you think you can do rigorous Keiko at the moment, so basics for you for now, you guys. Yes, and let me tell you, last time I came to Japan, I was excited. I think I was excited the most about practicing my basics, because there's, especially when you are trying to do your basics with a sense of, I want it to be ippon, right? Like, I want to imagine myself being in jigeiko, and when I'm doing it, it's going to be an ippon. There was something rewarding about that for me, that it was pretty cool. And guys, yes, like that guy, he could have got hit very easily there. Yeah, he let his guard down. Like, okay, so you guys can see the same thing. And this is something, listen, I think one of the best not advices, but things that I heard, because it wasn't told to me, but I heard it. One of the senseis was telling one of the students at a dojo I was visiting one time that in jigeiko you want to have every moment to have purpose, right? So you don't want to just stop, and you don't want to just like cut that tension between you and your opponent. You want to, every moment, every movement you do, to have a reason. So sorry guys, you want to have every moment to have a reason. So if you move to one side, you want to not just move and stop. You want to move and then be attentive, being pushing. No, don't lose that. So that being said, always have this when you're doing jigeiko. Maybe 3 minutes jigeiko, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. Try to minimize the amount of stall time, or like flat time. Always try to be doing something. Watch that kote. Not necessarily watch the kote. The Jordan player didn't score the kote, but look at the change of speed, the aggressiveness in which he hits or he throws his technique. Sorry. You see that change of timing? It's like he's relaxed. He tenses up to get a reaction, try to get a reaction. And at that moment, kind of wide, still not really sure what's happening. Let me go in slow motion real quick. And then you see, watch it one time. He tries to get a reaction by raising the hands and doing like he's gonna go for a man. And then boom, he goes around, right? I think if he would have done it like half a second earlier, he totally would have scored the technique. But what impresses me the most is the change of the timing, the change of speed between his motions, right? It's a little bit relaxed, tense, and then he goes so quick. And I have a friend that he used to say, or like I used to practice with him a while back, and then he used to say that when you're gonna attack, it should feel like you're getting electrocuted at that moment. Like electricity is just passing by, so it's kind of like a fast twitch on everything, but then relax. So you have to be relaxed, twitch, and relax. So if you have that, you can control the timing a lot, and I feel that that's what just happened right now. I don't know, let me know what you think about that. Let me catch up with this. Aisha said, you see, and Hui, thank you very much for being a member. And yeah, very quick, and I think it's done, and I want to make a video about that too. Understanding how to move, because remember, he's a Jordan player, but he doesn't have to go one hand, he's using both. And understanding how to use the left and the right hand together in order to add that power, that ability to go quick and snap. So it's the moment after separation before he races to Jordan, an opportunity to attack. The moment after separation before he, okay, so I understand. So let me see if I'm understanding. You're talking about like, you know, they're one suicide eye, they're separating. Can this person attack before this person comes in? Yes, they can. But I'm not gonna say that this is a moment to attack. I don't, for me, and this is a personal thing, I consider a moment to attack when either I make my opponent make a mistake or when my opponent makes a mistake on their own. So at that moment, it's not a moment to attack, but if you feel that the person is distracted, is too slow, is too chill, maybe this is the mistake they made, and that's when you can go in. Because the fact that their sword is not up doesn't mean that they're not ready. Because remember, they don't have to bring the sword up to get an ippon. So tell me if I understood that correctly, that can you attack a Jordan player before, can you attack a Jordan player after you separate, before they raise their sword? Is that what you meant? Okay, and by the way guys, if you would like to support the channel, become a member. I'm putting the link in there, and I forgot to do this. I forgot to tell you guys that you can always come into the Discord server, which I'm putting the link in the chat. Join the Discord server, is completely free, and there, you know, we can talk together, and you know, if you have any questions. At the same time, Aisha, you said you're overdue to bed because it's 2 a.m. Oh wow, okay, so you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me for 1 hour. Really? Oh, that's crazy. Okay, have a good night. Thank you very much for passing by. Yeah, we'll catch up later. And guys, this is... Oh, you're in Australia. Oh, sorry. Oh, so how'd you confuse? Okay, well, anyways, enjoy. Have a good night. By the way, guys, if you guys want to watch this video on your own, I'm putting the link on the chat box as well. So, Lily, oh my god. Okay, so my bad. I had you, okay, I'll talk to you later. I had you confused with somebody else because of your name here. So at this point, the time is running out, right? So I think White is trying to push hard, but still not really being committed. But at the same time, maybe his plan is already saying, I don't want to get scored again. He doesn't feel strong or confident against the Jordan player, so he doesn't have to because his team's still ahead, and by not losing by 2 points, he's making sure that his team will stay ahead even more, right? Oh, listen, maybe it wasn't any bomb, but that impact was good. Oh. Wow. It wasn't any bomb, but... come on. Sometimes, okay. It came in with such a great... I'm gonna say this, maybe it's not a right word, like togetherness, right? The body and the sword. They gave it a very good feeling. And definitely Red, I think definitely Red felt this way because he tried to do anything just to kind of, just show that he's still in the fight. You see, White is being... Okay. My goal for practice right now is to be the person moving in first, not the person attacking first, but moving in first, trying to make my opponent react to my motion. So a lot of times when I'm trying to do that, maybe I take one step and I stop waiting for that. And this is my mistake, right? I'm waiting for my opponent to come in. At this point, even though I move first, I am not the first person putting the pressure. Then at that point, kind of switches into my opponent, and whatever motion they do, then I attack. So then I fall into their rhythm. It's hard to kind of catch into this properly. But as this is happening, if you watch, what's happening is that Red is doing something and White is coming in. So now White is following Red's rhythm. Watch. Up. You see? He moves up, he does something, and then pop. He didn't even do any approach, right? He just raised his hands, and now White is completely reactive to this. And by the way, a great opportunity for you to attack, if we're talking about opportunities to attack, is that not when the opponent covers, but when the opponent covers unnecessarily, right after, they tend to do a big overcompensation. So they look how White comes down so much, and he went down so much and tried to relax, and in that moment Red decides to come in. He made contact, but he didn't get the point, but he definitely made contact. So keep in mind that normally when there's a big overreaction to an action, a lot of times there's going to be a big overcorrection that you can exploit, you can take advantage of. And that was it. That's all she wrote for that match. Beautiful hidden semi. It was great. Okay, let me stop it for a second. It was a great approach, a great throw in the technique. I think he had good impact. Sorry guys. It's kind of like for me too, so maybe I'm yawning too much. I'm so sorry. But I think I don't want to confuse semi in the sense of semi can be many things, and there are a lot of elements, and I don't... Yes. Okay, I'm gonna start... yes, you're correct. I'm gonna start ranting if I keep going on that part of semi, because a lot of times I don't consider necessarily a feint to be seme, but I think it's more of a you know, that tension that's there is for the situation, for like a lot of things rather than that moment. So I liked, and this is something personal, so please don't listen to me in all of this aspect, but I'm looking at seme as that moment. What did you do to approach and build pressure to control your opponent? So I feel that he did the motion to get a reaction, and then after the reaction he came in, right? So yes, I think there's a fine line, and you can definitely put this into semi because it is a way of creating pressure, right? That quick motion. So, but personally, because this is what I'm starting and trying to build up for me right now, this is how I'm seeing it. I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? Just want to make that clear. Guys, you're saying that your Jodan senpai tells you that you should always change the distance and seme both kote and tsuki back and forth so that the Jodan player can jump in for a wasa. The Jodan player can't jump in for a wasa. So I think this is correct, but I don't like the phrasing a little bit, in the sense of I don't want to kind of have this pattern in my head going forward and backwards. Personally, what I'm trying to do, and I'm not saying that this is always successful, so please, take it with a grain of salt, is that I'm trying to take it moment by moment. So if I come in forward, the way I see it, I try to gather information. I try to go forward, what the person do. If I go backwards, why am I going backwards? And I'm trying to make the person come in, right? To try to see if they're gonna come in with me. So I'm always trying to have meaning on everything that I'm doing. And as a matter of fact, for the past, since I passed my Golan, and even before when I was training for my Golan, I've been trying to never go back. And it's funny because 2 weeks ago in the dojo, I think two people in the same dojo were telling me the same thing, that many people come in fake and then kind of like readjust, but I'm always coming in and attacking. And I don't care if I get hit. Most times I get hit, but when I come in and actually make the person react, I get such a good feeling because I feel that I made the person come in. And the beautiful thing that has been happening, because I've been doing this for the past continuously, every practice for the past 4 months, and so often because I get to practice more often here, is that now I feel that I'm understanding better what it feels right before the opponent is about to come in. So that's my moment to throw my technique. So again, not that it works all the time, but this is my personal training right now. Anyways, sorry. Guys, I think not only passive, he was very reactive and protective too. Oof. You gotta love this. You gotta love this interaction right here. So again, red team, it's below, is under for 1-5. Alvin, what is migrating Kendo? I am Golden, 5th Dan. Oh, look at this. Look at this interaction. Look how red moves the sword as he's approaching, changing a little bit of the timing and adjusting to the fact that his opponent is going backwards. Look, he comes in one step and it looks like he's going to throw a technique, right? But he doesn't. He lands on his right foot to kind of adjust a little bit, to kind of change the timing, right? He brings the back leg quick. He does like he's going to go for a kote, but he doesn't. He comes in for a man. So maybe this was whole. Maybe he didn't expect the person to raise the hands, but great approach, I think. Great control. That's what I'm trying to say. Red, that footwork, Red, listen, I think that a lot of Osaka players have great control in their footwork. As a matter of fact, I feel that, was it Kendo Jidai or one of those that are doing a lot of interviews and, you know, articles with players. Um, they share about Kiwada's and Okido's shift in their footwork lately. So you definitely want to work your footwork, guys. Wow, look, this guy, like, who, I need to read the name, but look how, I told you guys, when is the best time to attack for me is when I make my opponent make a mistake or when my opponent makes a mistake. And look how Red, okay, first of all, his Kamae, it's amazing, right? And look what happens here. White comes in, he tries to kind of create a reaction by doing a big movement. Red is very calm and then readjusting the distance, but still look at the back foot from Red. He's ready. That foot is ready to shoot. And then when he sees that his opponent is kind of keep doing these motions again, which are kind of a little bit useless motions, Red tries to go for a technique. And if it wasn't because White had the Shinai right there, he definitely would have scored it. Look at the distance where the tip of Red sword is. It's right there. So definitely being able to have a good control on your footwork and having the back foot ready to push forward, it's a great tool to put into your repertoire, so that way you're ready when you, not only when you make your opponent make a mistake, but also when the opponent makes a mistake. Yeah, hope you guys like that. Oh, I don't know those kanjis. Sorry. If anybody reads Japanese here, tell me who the Osaka player is. You see how, look how, and I'm sorry guys, on this one, when I see somebody that has exceptional footwork, I'm always looking at that, and it's a big element when it comes about the theme of today, right? The approach, how you approach somebody. And look at the control of the footwork. Look how small the footwork is, right? Like control, he goes backwards. Oh, okay, let me go slow motion. When he comes forward, you see he brings his back foot quickly. Yeah, that footwork's amazing. So you guys, I think maybe Red will get a Hansoku. Let me watch this one more time. I think Red might be the one getting a Hansoku, or at least a warning. What do you guys think? Okay, so they just gave him a warning, right? And let me tell you why, because there's always the talk about the whole thing that Hikiwasa's gone, the new rules with the provisional rules make things so hard for the fighting. So anyways, so the rule is that after Subaseri, you cannot stall the fight here. You cannot just keep sticking to the opponent. You have to separate, and you have to separate completely. The reason why I thought that maybe they were given Red a Hansoku. Oh, hold on, somebody said something. The Shimpan was facing Red though. You think, yeah. So I think Red is the one that they were saying that to Red, because after this exchange, hold on. So after this exchange, they're kind of both going backwards. Hold on. They're kind of both, okay, we need to separate. So you see he's going backwards, but then at some point Red stops and then steps in, even though White is trying to separate. So I think that this was a very good call, and a very quick call, by the way, from the Shimpan, based on how the new rules are set up, because they should have separated completely and re-engage instead of, White is trying to separate. The good thing that White did is that he also kept his attention on the opponent, because it's not that you have to separate and you can be mindless, because there's always the chance that the person can attack you and then, you know, you get hit and you lose an ippon and the other person didn't get a hansoku. You always want to look at it in every angle, but I think this was a really good call from the Shinpan. I think Red is setting up for Akashi though. Oh, look. Okay, this is something, guys, that I want to do it like this on every practice, every single time. Look how Red, after they kind of get tangled up here, see, they get tangled up here. Red is trying to separate, and then he also wants to have control of the center, right? So look how quickly he goes around with his sword. Look at, he's trying to keep the center. You see, he's trying to keep relaxed, and then here, goes around trying to keep the center, and even try to, like, what's it called? Even try to suppress his opponent a little bit. Like right here, goes around. See, tries to kind of like put a little bit of pressure with the right hand. And, you know, separating. And maybe he, you see, I feel like here they kind of realize like, oh, we have to separate because we're gonna get a hands up or what? Because both of them kind of didn't separate, right? But they said like, oh no, we have to separate. So that's cool. Nella, thank you very much for subscribing if you're here on the stream. So, okay, let's watch in slow motion. I think it's a great attempt. And I think that if you're going to do Tsuki, even to attempt Tsuki, you have to have strong footwork. Oof, oof, oof. It missed by just slightly. It's missed just a little bit. It kind of looked like it hit on the chest, right? Whoa. I think the Shinai is broken, right? Oh no, wow. You look at do you see that bend on that Shinai? Sorry guys, we have to watch this. And now we have to watch it on regular speed. Sorry. Crazy. So there's something here. Let me see something. Okay. So this is amazing, by the way. The fact that the judge that you see right in front of you, he's watching this and he has a very little time to see it to call it an ippon or not. Because the other judge, like, he was kind of almost in a position where he couldn't see it, but man, like, these judges are so good. And Cloudy, yeah, that was surprising. And surprises Shinai didn't break. Yeah, totally. I do have to say that Japan is very humid. So Shinais tend to last me longer here than they do, for example, in places like California. Or even US, because I feel that the AC dries them out so much too. If you live in a quick Kendo tip, if you live in a dry area and you want to make your Shinais last a little bit longer, store them somewhere humid, like, you know, in the bathroom close to a shower or something like this. Or also, this is something, I haven't tried this, but it's something that I heard at one of the dojos that I practice. Put a damp cloth inside of your Shinai bag, and, you know, make sure that it's not too wet, it's just a little bit, and it's not like directly in contact with the wood, right? So it can be like towards the bottom or towards the top a little bit, just to kind of get the humidity inside of the bag. And obviously don't leave it there for days because it's gonna get bad, but just kind of get a little bit of humidity in there. So that's what I heard. gas, yeah, like definitely in a dry climate, you will get that happening quite often. That would have broken that in a dry climate. Somebody's telling me, Claudia, you really want to do tsuki like that? I want to do tsuki like that. Don't get me wrong, but I feel that we all have to work in our footwork and in the ability to kind of explode into that technique. He looked like a replay for a second. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go back for a little bit here because there's something that we need to study here and we need to pay attention to. If you guys watch Red's footwork, let's go back from a little bit. So you go a little bit in slow motion here. Look how he brings the back foot quickly. He did a little bit of short step, and when bring the back foot quickly. When let me go back a little bit again. So this is something that I am studying right now, and this is something that when I go to the dojos, there's one dojo that one of the senseis really like drills this, and is that half a step to kind of start creating that pressure and to kind of make your body feel that you're going to come in, right? And if you watch, this is exactly what the red player does. He does one step, brings back the back foot, and immediately brings the right foot forward. He brings the back foot here. Now is when he's going to do it. Watch, see? He brings the forward foot and kind of gets into this position where he's ready to lunge forward. Key points for this moment is that his right knee cannot be locked. It has to have a little bit of a bend, and the back leg has to be the whole leg pushing forward, ready to explode and to jump off, to leap off the floor in order to create explosivity. That being said, he's in prime position where he doesn't have to do it if he doesn't have to, or if he needs to go backwards, it's very easy for him to also push back. So you know how we were watching the previous fight against the Jordan player where the guy was kind of front loading the weight, putting a lot of weight on the forward leg? So this guy is not doing that. He's actually distributing his weight in between both legs where he can push forward or push backwards at any time that he needs to. So very solid footwork in my opinion. Let me know what you think. Oh, and by the way, I think Claudia, you were the one that said that about my video that I posted this week. This is what I was referring to in that video, by the way, that half step forward. And watch this. Watch how red is gonna come in, put that little pressure forward. Right? He's putting that pressure forward, again, distributing his weight. He's not front loading, right? And then watching the reaction. His opponent goes backwards, so he doesn't go in. But if his opponent would have kind of approached the distance, he was in prime position to just attack. Oh, that was a dangerous position to be for white. You watch that almost decote. Watch it real quick. I'm gonna go slow motion. That was so close right there. Right? And everything that happened to make it happen is that red solid footwork, very good control. Even though that he's tall, he's comfortable on throwing an attack at this distance, which is another thing, by the way, Cloudy, that I was mentioning in my video, right? You want to be comfortable not only attacking far, but also attacking close for situations like this. Oof. Okay. Guys, you're saying why didn't he get the kote? Half an inch deep or lack of sanshin? So for me, the way that this guy fights, I don't think there's lack of sanshin. Even like, you know, like I don't think there's lack of sanshin there, but I think it was too deep. It wasn't the right contact. It wasn't the right, you know, place to impact. I love how this player, look how he always returns to center when he's separating. How sharp he does it. And I really hope he scores before the time runs out. So I want to see a point from him. So I'm going to say this real quick. From this moment on, right? From this moment where red is in the corner, many times when people are on the corner, they get scared or they get nervous. They start thinking too much about that line behind them. But red right here is fully confident. Now, normally you see a stronger player controls the center and keeps the person on the borders, right? But in this case, he kind of actually almost looks like red wants to be there, and he's kind of like trying to bait him to come in, because watch, after he moves right here, he's comfortable there. He doesn't look nervous, right? Even he can go backwards, he can go forward, and white is the one that doesn't look like he's confident to come in. And so much that look what happens, right? Now he lost that advantage that he had. He's being pushed back. Whether that was a conscious strategy or not, I don't know, but that was actually, for me, a pretty cool interaction. So you may notice that red is being very physical right now, very engaged, because remember, the team is down, so he's trying to get that point. Oh. Because if I remember correctly, they lost by 2 points on both fights. Oh. Okay, guys, we definitely have to watch. Even though it wasn't an Nippon, we definitely have to watch this approach, right? So let's watch the whole thing a little bit in slow motion. Look, he comes in into that distance already in Kamae where they're starting to cross the swords, and he sets himself up very close, and his opponent kind of goes backwards. He gives a little bit of a threat there. If his opponent was engaged, if his opponent had that grounding on the back foot, I think he could have come in quickly for a kote, but obviously he tried, or maybe he didn't try, but he wasn't really engaged forward. He's actually more going backwards, right? So he got scared, his opponent got scared, so red readjusted. And then, if you haven't noticed, they started very close, right? Like he came in with these long steps, and then he set himself up past this point. He set himself up here. So maybe what's happening here is that white, he kind of feels that this is the position to be rather than here. So I think red at this point takes advantage of that and immediately comes in for that man. You see, so that pressure to that came from here. If you would have been, man, like half an inch closer, I think it would have been an equal then. Also, look at the follow through. Man, I really like how he moves his body. I really like how he fights. I want to be like that when I grow up. Yeah, very close, guys. He's going for that Suki. Now he's attacking a little bit too fast, so that could put him in a bad position. And it can make it a little bit more frustrating and messy. Oh, time. I really wanted that. I really wanted this this fight to be scored. I really wanted red to. I really wanted red to score. Guys, you're saying half an inch shallow on this one. Yeah, he was definitely shallow. He was hitting more closer to the manganese. So the rule of thumb, or like if you, the way I like to see it, as a matter of fact, Claudia keeps saying things about my last video, but I mentioned this on my last video, that you want to put the leather of your shinai, the sakigawa, on the cloth, right? So past that leather and the lacquer part of the men and put the tip on there. Of course, you can still get an ippon farther deep, right? But you don't want to go deeper than you need to because of course it's going to take you longer to get there. And at the same time, you also want to learn to adjust when the person is coming in, which I think red did amazingly in this fight. I hope that makes sense, guys. If anybody has any question, guys, please send them my way. If you haven't, please hit the like button and consider checking out the members page. See if you would like to be a member of the channel and help support. There's one more fight on this video that I shared today, that I played today. I'm gonna put the video if you want to watch it on your own. It's cool, but we'll watch the last fight on the next stream because I want to compare that again with Jigeiko. So for next stream, I'm going to do Jigeiko and Shii at the same time. Guys, I have a stream with Blake Bennett, which is Alex Bennett's brother, and he has a YouTube channel called Kendo Coach that I think he has a great content in there when it comes to especially the mental training and the coaching for Kendo. And the stream, let me see, I believe it's going to be okay, it will be either weekend of the 1st and 2nd. Yeah, the weekend of the 1st or 2nd of next month. So I haven't set up the stream fully, the date fully yet, but if you guys have any questions that you would like me to ask him, the main, hold on, because sorry that I'm looking at my phone, but I'm just doing it for the purpose of sharing this with you guys. The main theme we agreed on talking about identifying areas of need for athletes, for motivation. Talking a little bit about the difference between a coach and a sensei, and training to benefit the best out of coaching, and what are some of the things that you can do in order for you to improve yourself. So again, the Discord channel, it's a great place, but if you don't have Discord, you can follow me on Instagram and just message me there, and I'll put the Discord server in the chat. There you go. So guys, thank you very much for everybody that's been here. You guys keep me motivated to keep learning, practicing, and improving my kendo so I can share that with you. If there's anything you want me to share from my trip here in Japan, please let me know. I want to provide for however help I can give you guys. Either it is in kendo, if you guys want to come to Japan, you guys need any help, and so on. I'm willing to share with you all that. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week and you get some good trainings this week coming up, okay? Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one.